off competition to win its bid to host Britain's third Garden Festival in 1988. Details were announced today by Scottish Industry Minister Alan Stewart, who revealed that the Prince's Docks site had been made available through a deal with a private housing company who were transferring their operations to other city sites meantime. And as Caroline Dempster reports, work is already underway at the docks in preparation for a festival which has been brought forward by a year.
The Princess Dock site certainly doesn't look much like anyone's idea of a garden festival at the moment. Just 128 acres of derelict industrial buildings and an old British Rail goods yard. But over 3 million people visited the Liverpool Festival this year, and it's hoped Glasgow will do at least as well in '88. The project should generate around £100 million worth of investment and directly create 1,000 jobs over 5 years, at a cost of just £12 million to the SDA. All sides welcome today's announcement as an important piece in the jigsaw of Glasgow's industrial redevelopment, and particularly well timed. It'll come exactly 100 years after the Jubilee exhibition of 1888 and 50 years after the Great Exhibition of 1935, and should bring long-term benefits to the city and to Scotland. The announcement is certainly good news for the Glasgow Parks Department, who should have a head start in planning their 1988 exhibits. They swept the board at this year's Liverpool Festival with a total of 33 certificates and prizes, including a gold medal for the indoor display and grand prizes of honour for the municipal gardens and the Harvest Festival displays.
Glasgow in 4 years' time. The site, like the Liverpool one, is derelict, a sad reminder of the city's great shipping days. But now the docks are being filled in and buildings demolished to make way for an estimated 4 million visitors and the kind of success which Liverpool enjoyed. Until after the festival closes. And in return, the Labour-controlled Glasgow District and Strathclyde Regional Council reversed their policy of not selling land to private developers in order to provide lanes with 7 sites so they could continue. The Scottish Development Agency are financing the festival to the tune of £12 million. They estimate the total cost to be around £22 million. But what will Glasgow gain from the festival?
We'll be getting 1,000 jobs a year over the next 4 years. We'll be getting 3 million visitors coming in 1988, whom we expect to spend about £26 million. And additionally, we will see Glasgow being put on the tourist map and Scotland's position on the tourist map reinforced.
This listed building, which was an engine pump room, will be turned into a restaurant and pub, and there'll be a marina. All these features will be retained after the festival closes. The Empire exhibition, held in Bella Houston Park, Glasgow, was a phenomenal success. Over 10 million people came to see it from all over the world, and it cost the same amount to stage as the £12 million the SDA are planning to spend in 4 years' time.
Garden Festival concept was first experienced in Britain when Liverpool mounted a 6-month festival in 1984. For the city, for the people who took part, for the people who visited, it was a success. 2 years later, it was followed by the National Garden Festival at Stoke, a blend of floral excellence and fun with an identity and flavour all of its own. Together, these events firmly established the Garden Festival tradition in Britain. Now there is to be a new festival in a city that has its own very distinguished record, Glasgow, the home of the International Jubilee exhibition in 1888, the 1901 Art, Industry and Science exhibition, and that extraordinary extravaganza of the 1930s, the Empire exhibition. The decision to hold the 1988 Garden Festival in Glasgow 50 years later is equally significant. It is to be the most ambitious festival planned anywhere in Britain. A festival in a garden setting, celebrating the highest standard in horticulture, involving amateur and professional groups in an endless variety of exhibitions, displays and competitions. The gardens will provide a backdrop to a spectacular and colourful programme of events for all the family in the greatest show of the year. As a combination of entertainment, excitement and education, it will be unique. Work on the task of reclaiming the riverside venue is already well advanced. Thousands of tons of earth have been moved in order to sculpt a new landscape on what was a barren and desolate site. Thousands of trees and shrubs have already been planted to form the basis of the festival's magnificent setting. Vital services, power, water and drainage have been installed ready to meet the needs of the thousands of organisations who will take part. Glasgow's Garden Festival is being created on the banks of the River Clyde, close to the city centre, well over 100 acres in all. The brand new Scottish Exhibition and Conference Centre on the North Bank, with its 10,000-seat arena, covered exhibition halls, conference facilities and car parking, will be connected to the South Bank by a bridge to become an integral part of the festival. The site has the best of road connections, the M8 linking the city and the national motorway network, the Clydeside Expressway and Paisley Road, serving the site north and south of the river. British Rail too is close by. The Underground provides fast local transport and Glasgow Airport is literally 10 minutes away. Visitors will enter the site at either of 2 points, on the south side along the Riverside Esplanade and on the north over the Festival Bridge. They will progress from the gathering space through the Festival High Street into the milling space, the hub of the festival concept. From this central point, the full festival experience will unfold. The Glasgow Garden Festival will have 6 sectors, collectively endorsing the festival themes: water and maritime, recreation and sport, science and technology, health and well-being, land and scenery, plants and food. These 6 sectors will be linked and intertwined by theme trails, which will be adventures in themselves, developing themes along the way with their own covered areas and exhibitions. Land and scenery, from the Highlands and Great Glens of Scotland to the lakes, coasts and pennines of northern England and the gentler downs and gardens of the south. Science and technology display the latest in science, plants and gardens, the technology of horticulture and agriculture, electronics, energy on land, in space and at sea. Health and well-being, demonstrations and shows of physical fitness with dancing, exercises, health foods, food for the body, food for the world. Recreation and sport, for the great outdoors, golf, rock climbing, angling, for the young and the old, for the serious and not so. Plants and food, for the enthusiast and professional, the horticultural products, market gardening, fruit, vegetables, agriculture, forestry and woodlands. Water and maritime. The River Clyde at the heart of the city will provide great displays of ships, of shipbuilding, tall ships, working ships, ships for flying and water sports and recreation of all kinds. The education and culture trail, music, painting, literature, the full gamut of the arts. The history and heritage trail, from fossils and prehistory to kings and queens, the sights and scenes of past events brought into the present. The horticulture trail, the plants and flowers of the whole world, the profusion of colour and the variety. Add to all this programmes of numerous small concerts, impromptu events, sports and celebrations, everything for the family, for the serious horticulturalist, and light shows and firework displays bringing another dimension to the festival at night. There are limitless opportunities for companies, organisations and individuals to get involved now, on any scale, large or small, in the great diversity of themes, displays and events the festival will embrace. As Scotland's biggest crowd puller for 50 years, Glasgow Garden Festival will be an unparalleled showcase for Glasgow, for Scotland, and for the thousands of organisations involved. 1988 will be an extraordinary year. It will be the year in which the whole country will turn its attention to the liveliest festival ever held in Britain, to Glasgow, to the Garden Festival, 1988.
Just 90 days until the official festival opening, and not everything in the garden seems rosy, or at least as rosy as it should be. But work on the 120-acre site is continuing virtually non-stop, and the organisers are confident the banks of the Clyde will look very different come the end of April when it's all systems go. There's more than a touch of Disneyland to the festival, which is intended to be as much about fun as it is about flora. This partially completed recreation of Glasgow's High Street in Victorian times will play host to bands, street theatre and other activities every day once the event gets underway. And the 220-foot high Clydesdale Bank Tower, which will offer a rotating panorama of the entire garden festival. Advance ticket sales have almost totaled 1 million. It's hoped that figure will be trebled by the closing day in September. The taxpayers' contribution towards the cost of staging the event runs to millions of pounds. That's surely an expensive flower show if it flops.
The public, and they came in their droves. The organisers revealed that backing for the event has topped £16 million, and season ticket sales are more than 13 times the level achieved by the Stoke Garden Festival in 1986.
It's a combination of 4 years' work by a team which has got larger and larger and is now very large, and they've all done marvellously well. And now part of the team's work is finished, the people who've been involved in building it, but the other part, they are going to have to be on their toes, because for our next 152 days we've got to put on the same sort of show that's on today for every day. And at the end of the festival, it's got to look as nice as it does now.
Almost exactly 100 years ago, a Prince and Princess of Wales came to Glasgow to open the first international exhibition in Kelvin Grove Park on the banks of the Kelvin. Today, a prince, he is the great-great-grandson of that other Prince of Wales, brings his princess to Glasgow to open Glasgow's first and Britain's third National Garden Festival on the south bank of the River Clyde. Swing open the old gates of the Royal Technical College, Strathclyde University, and the Overton Bandstand beyond, restored to blue and gold from Overton Park in Rutherglen. And old landmarks of the Clyde. Smiling faces everywhere. Glasgow's waited a long time for this day. The band is playing Rainbow City, and the children, 1,500 more of them here from Scottish Opera for Youth, singing, "Here we are, all join hands, welcome to this fair land. Near and far, young and old, have a day out of this world." And here we see all the mounds of green turf that has transformed this old quayside, Mavis Bank Quay, into a dear green place. The thrill ride, every exhibition in Glasgow has had helter-skelters or roller coasters, and this thrill ride is the most fearsome of the lot. Screams and laughs. "90 seconds it takes. Half loop. A right screw immediately followed by a half left screw, and then a half loop, and then a full loop. And just when you think it's all finished, stops and then does all the same thing backwards. And the ride has a G-force for those who are interested of 4. What they're moving towards is the Crystal Pavilion. An extraordinary blue structure, as you can see. It resembles a quartz crystal cluster. 495 blue glass panels of 3 different shades of blue reflect light, color, and movement.
It's all right, it's fine. You can just go back.
That here at the Garden Festival in Glasgow grow before your very eyes. An age of human time passing in the fraction of a second. As do these plants. Beautiful tropical display. The orchid. Festive Glasgow. Selectively bred over many years in Glasgow's botanic gardens. Dendrobium, for those that know. It blooms in March and April, not a whisper that Sunday is the 1st of May. Quite complicated to organize the emergence of butterflies to coincide with a royal visit to Mavis Bank Quay. Low kettle there. Inverclyde District Council. Because who invented the steam engine? James Watt in 1765. And 19 years later he was centrally heating his office using steam pipes. The waterfall leading under the bridge to the burn. A copse of birch above the waterfall, a friendship contribution from Finland. 28 countries are joining in this not only National Garden Festival but International Garden Festival. Fighting Stags by Sophie Ryder, made from wire. The Antonine Garden. The Scottish Agricultural Industries peat bog, the Bowmore distillery. And a single malt Islay whiskey has been produced called the Spirit of the Festival. Now, would you believe that that was in the centre of Glasgow? The Loughlin restaurant, where the Prince and Princess will have a buffet lunch and sign the visitor's book in just over an hour's time. So as the fountain by Weir pumps on the left there, which can shoot as high as 210 feet into the air. Ships set sail from here for Canada and for America. Well, a shorter voyage for our royal couple today, across the marina to the Clydesdale Bank Anniversary Tower on the right. Every exhibition in Glasgow has to have an observation tower, and this is no exception, but it's perhaps the most exciting of the lot. It marks the 150th anniversary of the founding of the Clydesdale Bank in Glasgow, where its headquarters remain. 240 feet high, and the cabin ascends and revolves as it does so. So you get this wonderful view as we are looking now away to the large cranes of the Govan yards, the most modern yard in Europe, and whose fate is just being decided at this moment. Of the gondola turning around. I don't think the Princess of Wales lacks the height. And there is the Clyde being shot 210 feet into the air. Moving round now to Pavilion Station, and here's a welcome sung at the Gateshead Pavilion, or just beyond it, by the Glasgow Youth Choir, conducted by Agnes Hurley.
Congratulate all those who have worked so hard for this event and have great pleasure in declaring the Glasgow Garden Festival 1988 open.
Yes. We're going to be visiting the Grand International Show, which is away from the festival.
That's right, and that's on from now until when?
10th of July, and if you come to the festival, it's included in your ticket.
For itself?
It's £3 for adults and half price for children.
And this Grand International Show, it's the first time it's ever come to Great Britain, so we're very proud that it's actually come to Glasgow.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, Jim, so should we have a look?
Let's go.
Oh, Jim, I think this is absolutely amazing.
Astonishing. There's such a wealth of plant material in here, it's going to take ages to see it all, isn't there?
Well, I think so, and just think that, well, probably a few days ago this was just a bare hole.
That's right, and complete with flamingos there. Stretching the wings there.
They seem to be quite happy.
Yes, aye, they've settled in nicely, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have.
But you know, I don't imagine anything quite like this has been seen in
Scotland, even in Britain before.
I wouldn't think so, Jim, because so often it's individual stands, and this is a design as a whole, isn't it?
Absolutely, one runs into the other. And in fact, there's a higher walkway. I think we should go up there maybe.
Yes, and then we can pinpoint each country.
Maybe see exactly where we're going to go.
Okay.
Right, go then. Well, this is certainly the area to get the panoramic views, isn't it?
Well, Jim, I think it adds a new dimension to a floral display, doesn't it? You can get up above and look right the way round.
Fantastic. And it's certainly the place to see this magnificent water feature that sort of laces its way through the whole thing, isn't it?
Fabulous. So do you think we should maybe sort of start right over there in that corner? We've got West Germany.
What an array of countries, yes. West Germany and Czechoslovakia. Denmark.
Which concentrates a lot on houseplants, doesn't it?
That looks a bit familiar, doesn't it?
That's the cacti from Duffy Park. Do you think it'll be a bit empty?
I think it will be. Really, we must get down amongst it, mustn't we?
Whereabouts are you going to go?
I think I shall go to Denmark.
Well, I'm off to Germany.
I'll see you at the airport.